I'm live. What's up? I've got one dude who just left, and he's back. What's up, everybody? Is anybody in here? What's going on, bad man? Yeah, hope you like the calf crank video. All right, we got 6. 6 is better than 1. 13 is better than 6. 15. Let's keep it climbing. What's going on, guys? Hey, good morning. It's good night for me. Right now it's like 11:15. Heck yeah, Evan. 18 people. Starting to grow a little bit. Pretty nice. I know it's late, but it's also probably early somewhere in the world. Penguin saw me cornering over the weekend. Didn't know I did that. Hey, what's up from Australia? We got Sis Bro Shao. Smoogie, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Evan. Okay, guys. Is my gym open? Is that a trick question? I work with small groups of people that are wanting to take the necessary risk to do a little bit of training. Skeptic, thank you. What's up? There's so many guys now. Got 20 of you. Harrison from the Old Rollers podcast. What's up, Harrison? Cool. All right. Something I wanted to bring up, guys, before I answer some questions. I'll try to well, first, I guess I'll talk a little bit about the UFC. So, UFC was last weekend, guys, for us. UFC 252. We were the main event of the prelims. Yes, there is such a thing. So, main event of the prelims. We showed up to Las Vegas. It was at the UFC Apex in Vegas. We showed up on Sunday night. Saturday is the fight, so we basically had a week. It was a short notice fight, and we took the fight, I believe, on a Monday, the previous Monday. So we basically had like almost 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. We show up in Vegas. We check into our own hotel for a couple nights. So Sunday night to Monday, we get some training in on Monday. And then actually, I'm not even sure if we did train Monday. I think Monday, yeah, we took him to the UFC Performance Institute, and he got a little bit of training in there. So very short camp. So then Tuesday is when like everybody's coming in. So the UFC ends up like getting this Residence Inn. I believe it's Marriott Residence Inn, and they basically get the whole thing, right? So it's for nobody else can get in. So they set up checkpoints at the Residence Inn, so you can't even get into the parking lot unless you have a badge. So when we get in, we let them know that we're a fighter. First thing right away, you're not even allowed in. You got to go into this tent, and in the tent, you take your actually your second COVID test. I did a COVID test through the mail that they like overnight it to you. So they overnight a COVID test to you. You have to go online like a Zoom video with this nurse or person, and they just basically watch you as you open the package, and then you take the COVID test. And it was a saliva test. So you basically just spit into a vial until it fills up enough saliva for them to test. So, and that actually does take a while. I don't know if anybody's taken this type of test. I've done the nose, and then so now I'm spitting in a vial, and then you send it away, and then they get back to you like right away with it, like within like a day, and you get your test result. Boom, I'm negative. So we're allowed to go to Vegas. So we go to Vegas. Tuesday we check in. You do another COVID test. This one is a swab in your throat. So you go into this tent. They do a quick temperature check. Then you go with these how do you say technicians that are going to do the administer the test. They swab your throat. It's really quick, painless. Um, Boom. Next day they're going to give you the result. Between that time, you're now on quarantine, so you're stuck in the hotel for 24 hours basically, and we are you just chill, right? Netflix, whatever, video games, whatever you want to do. You're stuck in the hotel. The nice thing about this is it's a residence inn, so we've got like 2 bedrooms in every room. We were given 3 rooms. One of them is Vince's room, so there's 2 bedrooms in it and a living space in the middle, like a little living room, kitchen, all that. We have another room that's basically a workout room. You guys saw that on the videos. And then we have another room that's another 2 bedroom, and that's where me and Pete Cunningham, we chilled there. That way Vince could always sleep. And if we wanted to stay up late and yap and talk and argue, we could do that. So watch some ancient aliens. So that was nice. Anyway, so we're stuck in the hotel. Next day we get our COVID test, negative. Actually, I might have been. I'm having trouble remembering when. No. Yeah, Wednesday we can go out. So then we can leave. We go to the grocery store, buy a bunch of groceries because it's going to be expensive to buy food and have it sent to you every single day. It's going to get expensive. So I think I spent like $160 buying groceries, and boom, we were set. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday if we wanted to. I ended up taking food home. I bought so much. So to feed 3 of us. So yeah, exactly. We eat really good. I was cooking. I did ribs. I did pork ribs. I did beef ribs one night. We had chicken. We had burgers. We had whatever you wanted. So I had stir fry vegetables. We had all kinds of great stuff. So, and obviously the snacks and the cookies and the ice cream so we were having a good time. And I started working out, so I was definitely enjoying the calories. Anyway, so we work out every day in the workout room, basically in the hotel. We hit our mid session. We do a little grappling session, and we're done. We take Vince over to the PI, which is the Performance Institute. He gets stretched. He gets a little focused training on certain body parts, and then we basically spend a whole lot of time in a hotel, and it was fun. And then come weigh-ins are on Friday, right? So Thursday night we do this weight cut, and I'll just let you guys know what happened. I know I did a video on it, but I'll let you guys know kind of like a basic timeline of what goes on. When we started, we were probably about 177 pounds. Now we're fighting at 155 that gets a 1 pound allowance. So it's actually 156. So a lot of people want to know this stuff. 177. So we're basically 21 pounds over. So we're 21 pounds overweight. This is about a week and a half out. So what do? Well, obviously Vince starts dieting. He's drinking tons of water. We get our weight down. By the time we get into Vegas, we're probably up at about 170. So we've lost about 7 pounds over the course of a week in preparation. Now we're in Vegas. We're 170. After the first couple of days, from Sunday to Monday to Tuesday, we're now hovering, by Wednesday, we're hovering around 168, 66. So we're somewhere in that range, 66 to 68, which means we're basically 10 to 12 pounds overweight. Thursday, we start our weight cut at 166.8. So we are basically 10.8 pounds over. We work out for 2.5 hours, and the workout obviously consists of mostly, as I showed you, the jumping rope, obviously a whole lot of sauna, a lot of chilling under towels, shadow boxing, stuff like that. And we basically, in 2.5 hours, we were able to sweat out about 8 pounds. So we're still about 2.6 to 2.8 pounds over. We go to bed at midnight. We got to wake up the next morning. We're checking weight at 7 a.m. to make sure. Weigh-ins are at 9. We want to make sure we make it. So give ourselves a 2-hour window. Even in worst case scenario, we can do this. So we wake up. We've lost another pound from drifting. So now we're only 1.6 pounds away when we wake up. So that means we got to go to work. Get our stuff back on, a little more sauna, a little bit of, heating our body up. And we spent about an hour, roughly, maybe just about an hour. And then in that hour, we ended up losing about 2 pounds. So we're under. We're under by about 0.6. At that point, just in time, it's about 8:30, 8:40. We get shipped over to the UFC Apex, the venue. We get taken in a limo. We know we're on weight at this point. It's just sit there and wait. We check our weight at the Apex on the check scale, and now we are actually 0.8 under. So they tell us don't eat or drink anything, but we're like, nah, we're 0.8 under. We're 155.2. Hell nah. So I go over while Vince is chilling. I go over to that check scale, and I get some, it was actually coconut water. And, the coconut water is probably about, I want to say 3/4 of a pound. We didn't want to cut it that close. So now what's happening is I'm trying to measure out a half a pound. So I'm drinking some of it, and then I'm measuring how much is in it. So I drink some of it. Boom, I check my weight. I do a quick math problem, figure out I've got about a half a pound of coconut water. I give that to Vince. That way he can wet his whistle. He's got about 20 minutes before weigh-ins. It's worth it. I mean, it's nice to just, at that point when you've cut that much weight, man, if you can just get a half a pound of fluid, man, that's huge. In the grand scheme, it may not help that much, but in the moment, it's much needed. So we weigh in. We're 156 on the dot, looking good. And guys, all I can say is 30 minutes later, we are 166, roughly 165, 166. 30 minutes later. By fight time, we were actually weighing about 179 pounds. So that means we were 23 pounds over the weight that we weighed in at. So as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, weigh-ins are now more than 24 hours before the fight. Fights at night, we fought at about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And our weigh-ins were at 9 in the morning. So you can do the math on that. We got about 9 plus 24. We're looking at, 33 hours to recover. So that put us up 21 pounds over the weight. Or actually not 21, but what is that? 23 pounds over the weight. Felt great. Vince performed really well. Hope you guys enjoyed the fight. There was lots of shit that went down. It was an exciting fight. A lot of grappling involved. We knew that could happen. Obviously, the game plan was to not grapple with Jim Miller. The game plan was to, strike and avoid takedowns and avoid the grappling game and try to shut down his best submission holds. And that's what we did. So anyway, it was a great night. We were really excited. Once we get done with the fight, we go through interview after interview after interview. I feel like he did like 50 interviews, but I think it had to have been like 5 or 6. He goes through 5 or 6 different interviews and photos, and then they basically just limo us, ship us right back to the hotel, and we're like watching the rest of the fights, catching the Vera O'Malley fight and Cormier Miocic in our hotel room. So anyway, very different than the past when you got to hang out with all the fighters. In this case, nobody's hanging out, guys. UFC, they're taking COVID very seriously. You are not hanging out with anybody. I mean, you're pretty much alone. You're warming up in your warm-up room alone, which I actually kind of like because we get a lot of privacy. We pretty much get our own little warm-up room that I'm sure they use for the Contender series. So anyway, it was a good night. So let me just read a couple of these. Being honest, I'm wasting time doing gi BJJ for the purpose of competing in no gi or MMA. I know they say that the extra friction helps, but I feel like that benefit is over exaggerated. Ethiopian asks. Yeah, guys, I don't crap on the gi. I don't say that the gi is bad, like a lot of no gi guys will. I think the gi is very beneficial to learn. If you had to choose between one or the other, I would choose no-gi. But I, I I I don't want to say you're wasting your time. I think there's benefits to it, but if your goal is MMA or no-gi competing, then yeah, you need to be doing no-gi. So that's all I gotta say. Pepsi, I don't know what that means. Anyway, hey coach, big fan. I've been wrestling for a year in my academy and wanted to know if I could be a high level wrestler if I keep at it. I didn't wrestle in high school or uni. Um, Anything's possible if you're a good athlete. Um, don't give up on your dreams no matter what. The odds are very low. Very, not gonna lie to you, very low. But you need to go to competitions. No way around it. You have to do that. So, okay, what's up, Matt Pamilio? Why isn't Vince in the UFC game? I think he deserves it after beating Miller for sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I don't know about that, but that'd be awesome. Anyway, should give fighters enough time to hydrate and get to replenish electrolytes. Yes, Jesse, definitely. And that's why they wanted to do that. They did not want to have fighters dehydrated, getting knocked out, getting KO'd during a dehydration situation. Obviously, that probably wouldn't be good for their health. So they're giving them more time to rehydrate. We're completely hydrated. So anyway, hello from Australia. How was it different cornering and coaching with no crowd? Both fighters hear everything. Yeah, I mean, it was different, but we're all used to that because when we start bringing fighters up like Vince, I mean, I've cornered Vince for, let's see, we had about 11 or 12 amateur fights. And then I've cornered him for approximately like 14 pro fights. So somewhere around there. So if you think about it, I've cornered Vince for at least 25 fights, at least. I'm out of those 25. I mean, a lot of those fights were, not big crowds. You're not fighting for big crowds. And, I'm used to that kind of intimate setting. So it's definitely different, but it's not anything that we're not used to. And fight's a fight. You just do it. Hey, coach, when I throw up the trap triangle from guard and the guy postures up, do I bail the triangle or is there something I can do to break the guy's posture, finish the triangle? Kevin asks. Yes, Kevin. I'm not saying that you can always break down somebody's posture. If somebody's doing their job right, there's two sides to every coin. So if he's doing his job right, it can be very, very difficult. But I do have a video on that. You can probably check out my video where I show basically how to swim the arm. It's kind of like what a zombie in rubber guard technique of 10th Planet. That's not where I got it from. That movement's always been around. But what I'm saying is you swim to get an overhook, basically, to trap it in your armpit. And when you do that, it takes away one of his arms that he uses for posture. And I like to do that in order to reach up and get the head and then break posture. And then you basically tighten up your triangle from there. Remember, triangles, it's not like you just do a triangle and boom, 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 you just lock it up. It does work that way sometimes, but usually with beginners. With advanced guys, it's usually some work. You got to work at it. So I'm a big fan lately of the last year or 2 years of my life. I love to watch arm wrestling. And remember, some arm wrestling matches are just wham, you finish it. But a lot of arm wrestling matches are strategic and there's actual moves where they have to readjust. They have to crawl their hand up and get a better position. Finishing a triangle is much like that. You're going to need to know what you're doing, and you have to learn how to increase your advantages. So once you break posture, tighten up your triangle, get everything a little bit better. Incremental steps to getting it tighter and stronger and just better positioned. And then you can start to maneuver the arm where you need to and complete your triangle and get ready for the kill. So not saying it's going to help you forever, but if not, switching to omoplata is also an idea. Switching to arm bar is an idea. Looking for better positions for sweeps. Not like I got a whole lot of information on that, but you know, you got options. You always have options. You always got to think about options. Coach, I'm having trouble doing Imanari rolls on bigger guys. With guys my size, it's fine. They fall and I heel hook them. But with bigger guys, they just don't fall and many times are able to get their leg out. Why does this keep happening? Well, they're big. So when you Imanari roll, here's the thing. When you Imanari roll, a lot of times guys fear of the roll, of the leg lock, causes them to maneuver. They move, which takes weight off their leg and trips themselves. And it makes them fall a lot easier. If you get a really big guy, when they look at little guys, they're not afraid. You're a chihuahua. So when you roll underneath them, they don't freak out and try to jump out, which would lead to them falling and possibly falling into your trap. So what bigger guys will do is they'll just stabilize their balance. If they stabilize their balance, you're now, again, like a little guy clinging onto something and trying to bite at their ankle, and they're not going to fall. You're not able to manipulate their balance properly. I'm not saying it's hopeless, but this is the little man versus big man problem that I've faced my entire life of martial arts. So what can I tell you? Pick on little people? No, that's just a joke. I wouldn't just, if you have a guy that's always stabilizing, I don't think you need to always attempt the same technique. Maybe look for different things to throw him off. If you attempt it and he stabilizes his balance and you can't offset his balance, I would start transitioning or towards some other type of guard to try to create sweeps, to try to create attacks. That's what I have off the top of my head. I know it may not help you that much, but hopefully it's something. Try to be unpredictable. If you're doing a move that people know is coming, it's easy to block. And having said what I said earlier, little guys or guys your size can do the same thing, but a lot of times, like I said, they fear you. And it's really important you don't fear your opponent. When in positions, you have to stay calm and have courage under fire and keep fighting. So like, for example, I'll have a guy roll underneath me like that, and I try to solve the problem. I try not to flee the position. There was a guy, I believe we did a video not that long ago with, it was a UFC breakdown of Gastelum, and he was going with Hermanson, right? So Hermanson, I believe. So Hermanson ends up catching him in a heel hook, and he freaks out. I mean, he spazzed out. He may be a black belt, but either way, he freaked out. He didn't calmly solve the problem whatsoever. And freaking out sometimes works, but guys, you guys got to have skill and technique. That's the whole point of martial arts. It's not just crazy fighting, although crazy fighting works at times. You need to solve the problem, and he didn't solve that problem. So this is a reminder to you guys from the defensive standpoint. Guy gets you in an armbar, don't freak out. You freak out and you try to pull out an armbar of Jim Miller, you get armbarred. Vince didn't get caught in any armbars this time, but we were fully prepared if we were going to get caught in armbars, rear naked chokes, leg locks, and guillotines. So we worked on all that stuff. You cannot panic. Panicking is what leads to a lot of times you getting caught. So, all right. Any chance a 54-year-old could wrestle? Yes, it's possible for sure. You need good training partners. it can wrestle with you properly. Um, Wrestling on your knees is a great way to start. Wrestle on your knees and just get comfortable with that, and then work your way back, work your way up to your feet. That's something that I use quite a bit during my teaching. Um, so let's see. Hey, coach, what is the reason Cormier didn't use his wrestling too much against Cormier? Surprised he looked dominated in the clinch. I think you mean Miocic. So, yeah, why didn't he use it? Uh, Guys, Miocic is like, he may not be the level of wrestler that Cormier is. He's a big boy, man. We're talking about the heavyweight division. I do think that Cormier's carrying a little too much body fat. I don't think he's that big of a heavyweight. Obviously, weight-wise, he might weigh enough, but he's not really a true heavyweight. Um, he's not what I would call a true heavyweight. It's very difficult. You're talking about trying to out wrestle the heavyweight champion. It's going to be real difficult. Miocic is no joke. Miocic was able to out pummel and double underhook Cormier very easily. And, you know, when you're double underhooked, I mean, like, you got so many techniques you can use, and Cormier didn't have much. That's all I can say. But he's still a great fighter. No disrespect. Okay, who are my top 3 favorite grapplers? I'm going to tell you guys top 3 favorite grapplers. All right, Gary Tonin, Marcelo Garcia, and I may have to. This is tough because I want to give it to so many. I want to give it to. I got to look at for third. Okay, Gary Tonin, Marcelo Garcia, and third favorite grappler of mine is going to be a tie between Rafa Mendes, Cobrinha, and Hobson Mora. These are my favorites. Um, that's what I have, but there's many more. The more my brain is thinking of other grapplers, it's wanting to change it. So I don't want to talk. I don't want to think about it anymore. So I just got a text message, you guys. Um, Obviously, Megan Parduccio is watching this live stream, and she wants you guys to know that Megan Parduccio is one of my favorite grapplers. So, so she just texted me right now to let me know. So anyway, um, all right, let me get back to business here. So, how is attendance in your classes with COVID? Guys, we're only doing like small groups, super small. Um, we might have like 10 people or less. So 10 people or less. Anyway, Askren said his only regret was not doing more jiu-jitsu. Would you agree, or would you have preferred to see better striking? Um, yeah, I think that Askren could have learned more jiu-jitsu, but I honestly I think Askren needed somebody like me, because Askren's jiu-jitsu, he was good, but he never jumped into jiu-jitsu like he should have. I still think he didn't have the right teachers, and when you don't have the right teachers, they don't like, jive well with you. They don't gel with you. Um, he obviously was turned off by some jiu-jitsu at some point, and so he overcompensated with his wrestling, and that kind of hurt him. Um, I obviously, guys, I'm not the greatest of all time, but I do believe in my skills, and I believe in my understanding of the game. And I think I have the right recipe of how much wrestling and how much jujitsu you should use. I'm off. Obviously, I can't be perfect. I'm off from time to time, but I definitely think that he needed to sprinkle in a little more jujitsu, but striking would have helped him as well. Obviously, that's an obvious. So, okay. So we've got. Okay, my feeling is he gave the underhook on the one side, and the other hand was pinned by Stipe, so he had no real means to break the clinch. Yes, Kyle, very, very good eye. Stipe is a real heavyweight who's got a physical advantage. Yep. I don't think Cormier ever really recovered from that near KO in the second. Yeah, very possible. Um, do you agree that guillotines are all about timing? Every time I try and set up a guillotine from the front headlock position, everyone defends my hands so well, which forces me to take their back. Kevin is asking. Yes, Kevin. Guillotines, it's very important you time your entry. You got to get your hands in when the guy is not ready. Anybody who's ready is going to be defending their neck properly. And so other ideas I can give you is, again, if a guy knows it's there, don't try to work on it. Just leave it alone. Go to something else. When I check something, I tap a guy in the head that doesn't work, I go down low. Okay, I go down low, I come back up to the head. So you got to think in these terms. Um, it's basically the art of war, and we have to know how to open up our opponent. I never want to take the road where I force techniques. You always look to set things up. So and changing techniques is a great way to do it. So if something doesn't work for you, you just switch it up and you go to something else. But in the back of your mind, you're always looking to come back to your move. And I use that tactic all the time when I'm grappling. So I use it all the time. Another common phrase is take what they give you. So you got to take what they give you. If they're not giving you a guillotine, then why are you taking it? You need to look for other things that are open and then check it as you come back to it, and you'll be surprised. Second, a guy looks for something other types of defense. He guards up here, his body's open. He blocks his body, his head's open. So let's see. You're welcome, Harrison. Thank you. Do you think Stipe Miocic is disrespected? How can he be a 3-1 underdog against Jones and 2-1 against Ngannou? I can understand he can lose, but a champion being that big of an underdog is crazy. Common says, yeah, I'm not aware of the odds. That sounds pretty extreme to me. So I'm not saying that you can't be beat, but yeah, that sounds a little lopsided. Are there any really good pressure passers in Nogi? I pressure pass in Gi, but I'm having a hard time translating it to Nogi. I feel like Nogi is way more about athleticism. Shout out from Meraki BJJ. So I don't like the words that you use, but I understand what you mean. Um, Nogi is very difficult, to pass when you have a good guard player. It's very hard. It requires more time. You can't just do it in 5 minutes when you have a really good guy. Guys, if you look at the lightweight division, like 145 pounds, which I believe I'm lost, 65 kilo. And is that what I'm thinking of? 65 kilo at Abu Dhabi, right? Yes. So 65 kilo, I could be wrong, but I don't think there was one guard pass the entire tournament. There might have been a couple back takes. I think I remember. Now I'm having problems with remembering names. Help me out, guys. Twins. The twin brother did really well. Lost in the bronze medal match to Meow. He's also a twin. The other twin. Come on. One of my kids, Chance, used to fight him when they were coming up, when they were kids. Anyway, I think he got his back taken by Cobrinha's son. Rutolo. Thank you. Thank you, Harrison. So Rutolo, I think he got his back taken. Other than that, guys, I can't remember a guard pass. Can you? Was there ever a guard pass in that weight class? Nogi tournament, best in the world, nobody gets a guard pass. It's just insane. Think about it. Guards are so good. Guys are so flexible. You can't pass their guards. It's an interesting thing. I have a problem with this because what it does is it then teaches people that they should go out and develop their guards to be so good that it's impassable, right? It's impossible to pass their guard, which makes it impassable. Guys, I hate this because it's an amazing thing when it comes to the game of submissions. It's a beautiful thing. The problem is it makes jiu-jitsu world go out and do this. They get this impassable guard, and then they can like not get their guard pass. You get tired on top after 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. They sneak a little move, and then boom, they choke you out or whatever the move is. Guys, this is not good for self-defense or MMA in the long run. So what it does is it takes our eggs and it puts them in the guard basket. And I'm just kind of going off on a tangent. Sorry, JP, but um, I really want people to understand when you guys watch combat jiu-jitsu, EBI's combat jiu-jitsu, um, when you add slaps, you obviously you now notice that the guard player doesn't win as much. I'm not saying he can't catch someone, but sure he can, but he gets the shit slapped out of him, you know. So, you know, the guy on top, like help me out, guys. Also an Abu Dhabi competitor. I might have to ask Megan Parduccio. She works for EBI in combat jiu-jitsu. I'm a big fan of his. He won combat jiu-jitsu. Anyway, that guy's gonna slap the cheese off your teeth. So you don't want to just hang out on the bottom. Wagner. Harrison's got all the names. Thank you. Wagner Hosha. You know, do you really want a high level jiu-jitsu guy on top of you like Wagner Hosha? He's gonna slap the shit out of you. Who cares about your impassable guard because you can berimbolo and invert? You're gonna get the shit slapped out of you, and then he's gonna pass your guard and take your back. And that's what people notice with combat jiu-jitsu. It's one of my really favorite things about watching combat jiu-jitsu. It's not just because it's exciting, which it is, but it teaches you guys that are in order to make our jiu-jitsu better, which I want to make it better, not just for the sport. I love the sport, guys. The game of jiu-jitsu is fun, and getting slapped in the face is not fun. So straight up grappling is fun, but I have to, think about it. I was just at the UFC, guys. Jim Miller's doing jiu-jitsu. We're over there doing grappling that involves what I would call real grappling, like grappling where you're trying to end the fight. You're trying to punch and kick and finish this guy with submissions, with elbows, with whatever, by any means necessary. So think about it, guys. Jim Miller's trying to do jiu-jitsu. We out-grappled him. I'm sorry. He may be better at jiu-jitsu than us, someone would say. Like he's a better submission artist, but we were clearly the better grappler. In the fight, we out-grappled him. He couldn't finish his submissions. We were able to land way more damage. Jim Miller was very, very hurt after that fight. So I'm going off on a tangent, JP, but I just, on this subject of, it's very hard to pass the guard in no-gi at high levels. With these guys, they're so flexible. They can invert. They can almost always round their back and cup their back and then spin in a circle and recover guard. So it's an amazing thing. So you need more time to do it, JP. You need more pressure. You got to wear those guys out. And if you can slap the shit out of them, that'll help too. I hope I'm making you guys laugh too. So what are good ways to close the distance for shorter people? Kazumpet. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. But good ways to close the distance for shorter people. I don't know if you're talking about in a street situation, like a fight, or if you're talking about just closing the distance, like in grappling. I'm going to assume that you're talking about for a fight. Again, you use a jab, you don't have that much reach, right? But remember, you just need to get on the end of their reach. So even though you're short, it means penetrating with a step, which a lot of people don't do. They don't do it enough. So you have to learn how to take a big penetration step. One fight that you guys can watch that I rewatched Mark Kerr and this Krav Maga guy, early UFCs, like UFC 12 or something like that. Mark Kerr versus this Krav Maga guy. I don't remember his name. I'm sure Harrison's going to point it out right now. Watch that fight and watch Mark Kerr's double leg shot. That is called that's penetrating. Exploding off the back leg and penetrating. Look up that fight. Mark Kerr, UFC, fighting a Krav Maga guy. Watch that double leg takedown. That's how you close the distance. Greetings from Ecuador. Do you have an escape for the Tarico Plata and BJJ? Roberto, yes. Okay. The Tarico Plata, I really want to do a video soon on that and just talk about it with my thoughts. I really like it. I'm obviously a big fan of the Barata Plata. It's one of my kind of most popular videos. The Tarico Plata was something I wasn't really fond of before. The Tarico Plata, by the way, guys, was around before Tariq Hopstock started doing it, but he's the one that's credited with it. I'm all for it. It's okay. Tarico Plata, it's another kind of variation, very similar to Barata Plata, but they are not the same at all. So they're similar. They're kind of like cousins. But anyway, I like the move, and I have defense for the Barata Plata. Tarico Plata is something I would love to just talk about and go over. I still got to give you guys crucifix stuff that's been like, it's been in my head for quite a while. Anyway, I'll get to that, Roberto. I hope so very soon. Um, okay, Ethiopian phenomenon. I might get a job offer in LA. If I move down to that vicinity, I'm definitely coming down to your gym. How much do you charge for private sessions? Ethiopian, I charge $100 an hour for a private lesson. So obviously, you guys that are on my channel, I don't charge you guys. Hopefully, you guys can help me out and donate to Patreon, but I do this all for you guys. So, but if you want my personal time, one-on-one in a gym, in my gym, then it's $100 an hour. As a predominantly grappling coach, how much time do you spend on striking? Um, I'm starting to do it more with my guys. Because again, I like I said, I just got back from the UFC, and every time I do that, I get motivated on certain things. If I could get excited about anything, guys, right now I am excited about striking right now. So I am working with my guys a lot more on striking. We do a MMA class once a week, where we do striking with our jujitsu. This week I've held pads on 2 of the days. This week I've already held pads during jujitsu class, like afterward, before, teaching striking, very basics. Um, so I do want to spend more. I haven't in the past, but that's because there's things to work on. There's always things to work on, and striking is something that I would love to continue to work on. So that's all I gotta say about that. Who do you think wins, Adesanya or Costa? I don't know. They're both great fighters. I don't know. Small neck versus big neck. Advantages, disadvantages. Yeah, you have a small neck. It's easy to break it. Um, Small neck, harder to choke because you got to close that circle a little more. But big neck, easy to close the deal. I mean, you get them in there. Big neck though could be very strong neck. You know, so there's some advantages, disadvantages. Hope that was quick. I'm trying to keep up with the questions. Coach, I see you always from Italy, and I see your video. How much if you come to Italy for a seminar? Benito. I don't know, man. You're gonna have to cover my flight, and we got to come up with something. Maybe I'll put. We just got to get talking, and we can negotiate. But it's definitely got to be worth my while. I can't go all the way to Italy just for a couple $100. So that doesn't make sense. Um, Obviously, I would be leaving my gym, and I'd be having to pay people to cover my gym while I'm gone, and so it would have to be worthwhile, and possibly maybe even like a multiple seminar, like something like that, to make it worthwhile. Anyway, so that the cost could be shared. Anyway, Fagner's a nasty dude. Yep. So Oh yeah, coach, I wanted to hear your breakdown on Vince's failed Kimura. How did he not complete it? Okay, Batman, on the Kimura. I thought it was funny because I don't know what you guys heard. I just know what I heard when I was there. In the third round, beginning of the third round, Vince goes after Jim Miller. I knew that he was more tired than us. In between rounds, I asked Vince, I said, "Hey, Vince, it's 1-1. He won the first round. We won the second." I go, "Who's more tired, you or him?" And Vince looked over at Jim Miller and he went, "I'd say him." And I was like, "Yep. So we're going to go after him right now. We got to win this round." Vince goes after him, start of the round. Good strikes, hits him with a front ball kick into a right hand, front kick to a right hand punch, gets in on a double leg, starts to try to, might have been a single double situation. Um, Jim Miller attacks for a Kimura. As we hit the ground, Vince pulls his left arm out, which ends up giving him a Kimura. So it's the common relationship between Kimura and your opponent's Kimura. A Kimura can be a Kimura, much like an arm drag can be an arm drag for your opponent. So Harrison ended up getting the name. I'm sorry, I just saw it. Moti Hornstein versus Mark Kerr. Go watch that, guys. Anyway, um, sorry, I shouldn't look at the comments. I'm getting distracted. So now we have a Kimura, and I yelled out. I don't know if you guys could hear it. I go, "That's your Kimura now." And Vince looked at me and said something like, "Yeah, it is." During the fight, hilarious. He goes, "Yeah, it is." Vince didn't want to hold on to it. Jim Miller kept his arm tucked in real tight, and Vince felt that strength and that power that he was going to fight with it. We were in half guard, so Vince just abandoned it and went for an underhook. So that's all I can say about that. Again, if he wanted to go into the submission realm and just fight for submission, he could have done it. Instead, he chose to look to apply force, apply pressure, look for strikes. So that's kind of what we did. So, and then I believe it led to us taking his back. So that was obviously like a good thing as well. So, all right. David Wyndham, only chance to thank you for the content. Thanks. Keep kicking ass. Thank you, sir. Um, Request to post some more real grappling, EBI style, or self-defense with emphasis on striking potential, please. Edric. Yes. I'll try to do that. Thank you. I will keep that in mind. Guys, there's so many things I can do, and man, my mind every day, I got like so many things I could give you guys. You guys have given me so many great ideas, and I just got to do them. I know I got to just simply get to them. I end up getting distracted, and then I'll just like throw something out there. I want to do the back escape that Vince used against Jim Miller. That was one I was gonna do tonight, but we ran out of time, and people went home, and we had a guy throw up tonight. College wrestler came in, D1 guy, and he just drank too much water in between rounds, and we made him puke. But he was a beast. So anyway, can you go over a Merkel wrestling move? Yeah, for June Hawk Wrestling. If you already look up Merkel, I've got different Merkel videos, guys. I know that it's kind of jiu-jitsu related. I definitely could go over Merkel and talk about it for the sport of wrestling. I don't know how many people are actually interested in wrestling that watch my channel. If there are a lot of you guys out there, I will do more wrestling. I tend to do wrestling that can be transferred into jiu-jitsu with just a very rare occasion wrestling move. I try to talk about how it works its way into jiu-jitsu because I think most of the fan base for Teach Me Grappling is a submission-minded group of people. So anyway, so yeah, June. So there's a lot of wrestlers that watch, so that's cool. I would love to do it. There's so many moves, right? And Merkel is something that I teach my guys quite a bit, and I could definitely show you guys something about on the Merkel for wrestling, in the sport of wrestling, how I teach. Merkel's in my wrestlers repertoire. If anybody's gonna wrestle my kids, they better be ready for a Merkel because my kids all know what it is. So at least all my whole varsity squad, they are Merkel guys. So they're gonna hit it if you give them an opportunity. So, what are some of my favorite grappling matches to study? Man, guys, there's so many, but I mean, I study everything. Uh, Maybe not as much nowadays because I can't help it. I'm getting older and so many things to do. Life is busy, so I don't get to watch nearly as much as I used to. But man, back in the day, I mean, I have studied everything, Marcel Garcia. I have studied again, like the guys I mentioned before, Cobrinha. Um, you watch anything Cobrinha, anything Rafa Mendes. You watch anything Hobson Mora. Obviously, Jeff Glover. I love Jeff Glover. I've competed against him a couple times, and so I'm a fan of his. I may not grapple the way he does, but I still love to watch him. And I've learned definitely some jiu-jitsu by watching Jeff. Um, who else did I mention? Gary Tonin, Gordon Ryan, Lachlan Giles, great guys nowadays. Because I'm a no-gi guy. I like to watch those guys. I do watch the gi guys as well, but you can learn from anybody. Great matches with those guys to study. I don't know if I can give you guys stuff right off the top of my head, but those are the guys I like to watch. Again, Gary Tonin is an exciting attacker, but that's the kind of jiu-jitsu that I like to watch. I don't like to see the guys, to be honest, like Andre Galval. Although I've watched a lot of Andre Galval, and I'm not saying he's not good at jiu-jitsu. He's obviously amazing. He's not my favorite. He's the kind of guy um, compensates a lot with just it's kind of a wrestling style. Just takes people down and holds them. Um, Maybe we'll pass their guard, possibly. Maybe we'll take their back if they get tired enough. But you know, it's not the kind of style that I like to watch. I like to watch. Gary Tonin is going to hit you from any angle. Marcelo Garcia would go after you no matter who you were. It didn't matter. He was going to attack you. That's why I like to watch those guys. Again, Rafa Mendes is just a freak. I mean, absolute freak. I don't even know if I can say that I've ever seen anything like him. I don't know if he's human. He may be from a different planet. So, and obviously that's a joke. Did you always possess this positive attitude, or did it take time and effort to develop it? By the way, Vince Pichel is legit. I saw your video with him and the wrestler. The last part was very informative. Cool. Yeah, right on. I don't know what wrestler you're talking about, but cool. Um, did you possess this positive attitude? Did it take time or effort? Um, yeah, it took time, guys. I mean, like I was a pretty quiet kid. Um, I think I was shy when I was a kid, and I think right around the time when I got into junior high, I started to like realize that's when I learned that being outgoing was a choice. And then high school, I think I was still it was a process, but once I met my instructor, my martial arts instructor at 18 years old, he was very charismatic and very outgoing. So he brought it completely out of me. But I do feel like it was already brewing. It was starting. Um, you know, and then, once I started to have success in the martial arts, it's just success breeds success, and you get stronger mentally. And if you guys ever watch David Goggins, watch some David Goggins, and I don't know, that's who inspires me right now. You watch something like that, it's hard to not be inspired. Got to get out there and get after it, guys. Watch a little bit of Goggins. Just look at his Instagram, look him up on YouTube, and realize that you gotta get after it and go for it with whatever you do and be positive. So set up super chat on your YouTube channel so we can donate to your live chat. Yeah, guys, I'll figure that out eventually. Somebody mentioned that before. Obviously, guys, I do this. I love to do it. I also love to make money. It's a part of it. Obviously, I make money with my channel, as you guys know. We do have the Patreon site where you guys can donate. Again, I don't do anything crazy like where I try to give you, dangle the carrot and then get you to spend more money. It's just kind of like I just say, hey, if you guys appreciate me and you want to like, donate, you want to like forego. I always say forego a cup of coffee and donate a couple bucks a month. I mean, it's not that much, but if everybody did it, everybody that learns from this channel, shoot, I'd be making a lot more money, than I do. And right now, Patreon is probably somewhere around, maybe I might get like $700 a month, something like that. It might be 800, something like that. So it's not a ton of money, but it does help, especially because YouTube money is super low. YouTube is pretty bad. It's between 400 and 500. It's not a whole lot of money. There are many, many other people out there that are with channels that are very popular and they're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views on every video, in the tens and even in the hundreds of thousands of views. You guys look at Chael Sonnen. I mean, that guy's got to be killing it. So, anyway, I'm not quite on that level, I'll admit, but I thank everybody that does help me because it's kind of what keeps me going. And of course, I would love to grow. And if setting up something like Super Chat is going to help, put more money in my pocket and help me, I guess I got to look into it, right? Thanks. I appreciate the push and thank you. I'll work on that. Got to work on it. So I have a strong crucifix game and a decent traditional back control. I'd request a video on transitioning between them effectively and when to decide to go from one to the other. Yeah. Typically, Harrison, what I'll tell you just right now is I almost never go from a crucifix to a back control. I almost value the crucifix more than back control. The back control is 4 points in a tournament. The crucifix is nothing. I almost value the crucifix more. But it's, again, I have a pretty good crucifix game. There are ways to get out, and it can be difficult to get some guys. But I think when you tie up that arm, it's much harder to defend. Guys aren't going to defend their neck with their feet. So, I like controlling that arm, and from the back control, it's not always that just as easy to control that arm, much like Gordon Ryan does. I'm not real good at that. My flexibility is pretty bad. I'm not able to trap arms from the back control quite like Gordon Ryan does, but I can certainly control an arm with a crucifix. So that's my favorite way to do it. I'll try to do a video on that. That's, again, another thing. I should write it down. I'll forget. Yo, Coach Brian, I'm a huge fan of yours. Your content is super helpful. Thank you very much. Juan Jesus de Ocampo. Got a long name, brother. All right. Thank you for your time and dedication on your channel, Coach Peterson. You've helped a lot on my BJJ technique. Can't thank you enough. Keep kicking ass. Thank you. So, hey, I was impressed that you gave actual good striking advice between rounds to Vince. I don't even know what they showed, guys. So hopefully they showed. I remember after round one, I do remember telling Vince he was moving backward in a straight line. I did not like that. Jim Miller would blitz, and we were moving backward in a straight line instead of, oh yeah, and then you just said that, yeah. And so I was trying to get him. I didn't even read the rest of what you just said. I was trying to get him to not go straight back, to move laterally, and then to also, use feints more. He wasn't using them as much as he could have. And I think once second round hit, I know that the stand up, it was mostly grappling, but we landed that big head kick. Vince went after him. like a shark smelling blood. So I was happier about that. And I know the rest of the fight there wasn't as much stand up, but we did land some good blows in the third round and beautiful knees out of the clinch. We really did hurt Jim Miller, and he was not doing so well. Um, I would have liked to see us finish him, but that guillotine kind of burned up some clock, and then also us making a mistake and him kind of taking us down and getting to our back for a little bit, kind of burned up some clocks. So otherwise, I think we would have finished him, especially if we would have kept with our stand up. I think you seem like you seem like you're a very well rounded cornerman, and you know a lot. You know the whole game. Nobody knows everything, Kyle, but I've been around quite a while, and I've fought before, and I've cornered a lot of MMA fighters, so it's something I'm very comfortable with. I don't feel that much pressure. Um, I've been around a long time. I've cornered at least. I mean, it may not be as much as like the big time trainers, but I've cornered UFC fights maybe, I don't know, 12, 15 times, 12 times. So yeah, probably about 12 UFC fights. And I could be off on that anyway. But I guess UFC and other high level MMA fights, because I've done some. Like I did one in Australia. I don't even remember the name of it, with Carl Persian. Cornered Lois Cade in The Ultimate Fighter 1. Cornered Jeremy Jackson in UFC 44. And then I've cornered Vince in at least 7 or 8, um, I believe 8 UFC fights. So anyway, how and when should you start training after overtraining? Mostly have enough of energy through the day, but when I try to work out, I have zero energy. So how and when should you start training after overtraining? Dude, you gotta Smoogie, you gotta eat and drink. And if you find that you are like overtrained, it's I know this is not revolutionary right here, but you gotta take a break, bro. Um, I don't want to ever feel like I like to get a good hard workout, and I try to do those like when you're gonna take, like, let's say you're gonna take the weekend off, where you can fully recover and get some good night rest. If you find that your workouts are burning you out, and throughout the week it's getting worse and worse, you have zero energy, or even something like you're doing something in the morning, then at night you have no energy, or you're trying to lift weights. Like guys will go, dude, I lifted weights all morning and now I'm here for jujitsu class and I can't do anything. Guys, then that's counterproductive. If your energy is low and now you're not able to go to class and actually perform at class, you honestly don't need that weightlifting workout. Number one is your main course meal, your training. If it's MMA, then it's MMA. If it's jujitsu, it's jujitsu. If it's kickboxing, it's kickboxing. If it's all of them, then it's that. That's your number one meal. Your supplements, like your shake, your protein shake, that's a supplement, right? Well, that's like running or lifting weights. If you are just drinking protein shakes, you're throwing them back so many that you can't even eat dinner, then what are you doing? No, no more protein shakes. Eat dinner first. If you need more, then drink a protein shake. So these are supplements, and that's what your other training should be. Your energy needs to be put into your sport, whatever it is. So hopefully that will help. If you find you have zero energy, you need to rest until you do have energy. And if you're burning yourself out every single day, even just with your sport, then you're overtraining. It should not be like that. It doesn't need to be like that. Some guys will go, yeah, we did 10 rounds, and they'll be very proud of it. Yeah, that's great. But if you do 10 rounds on Monday, you come in on Tuesday and you can't train, or you only train like 3 rounds or 2 rounds because you feel like shit, then what good? Then 10 rounds was too much. Now, if you're doing 10 rounds and you feel like nothing and you come in, you continue, then you're doing great. So make sure that you're not overtraining. Um, that's the definition of overtraining. 10 rounds of jiu-jitsu, I don't care if they're 10 rounds of 10 minutes. If you can do it and come back the next day and do it again, you're not overtraining. It could be, dude, 3 5-minute rounds is overtraining for some people. 3 5-minute rounds. If they are out of shape, that will be overtraining for them. You need to learn how to gauge this. Faraz Zahabi goes into this quite a bit. If you guys want to listen to him, I'm not saying I agree with everything he says, but I do agree with what the basics of what he's trying to say. You don't need to train that much. You don't need to work that hard, especially to get better. Anyway, okay. I'm going to have to go soon, guys. My friend who's new to BJJ will be rolling with me and my white belt buddies on Sunday. I get one training session to prepare him for the sparring and want him to be competitive. Lanky. What should I teach him? Teach him a guillotine. Try guillotine. Guillotine's a pretty easy first day move. You can guillotine anybody on your first day. So try that. Thanks for the tuts and stuff. Can you check your Instagram? I messaged you on 2 accounts, but I'm not sure because I saw a third one. How many accounts do you have in total? Bert Della Speed. I think I have a Brian Peterson account. I have a Peterson Grapplers account, and I have now a Peterson Barbecue account. Those are the only 3 that I know of. Oh, I have a TeachMeGrappling account. I'm not in charge of that. High school kid did that for me. So I can't even access that. So I'll try to hit you up. I'll make sure I check it out. So yeah, guys. All right, bad man. Yeah, it's getting late, guys. It's already 12:22. Been at it now just over an hour. I usually try to give you guys an hour. Thank you, Harrison. Good chat. 3:30. You better get some sleep. I'm sorry, I can't read the Russian writing that we got down there. What was your last competition? How did you do? Mint Body Fitness. I have not competed since 2009. I was at the back then it was called FILA. Now it's UWW. Wrestling has changed. It used to be FILA. I was at the FILA World Championships for grappling. I took 3rd in the no-gi division, and I was 1st in the gi division. So let's see. My YouTube coach, which guard in BJJ do you think is the most effective in MMA? Pretty simple in the beginning, guys. You should know what a close guard is and try to work your MMA game from the close guard. I would say definitely as a beginner. As far as most effective, again, guard. Guys, my MMA strategy is pretty simple. From the guard, I look for any attacks that are available, and if a guy is going to avoid my attacks, I am going to try to push and get space and work my way back up to my feet. That is our style. We are a blend of jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and we want to get back up and we want to take them down. My jiu-jitsu is done on top. If I get taken down and a guy makes a mistake and gives me an armbar, triangle, omoplata, kimura, guillotine, I will take it. And so that's kind of how I approach things. Any type of sweep, any type of movement that I can do to create a reversal or a stand-up or a submission, I am going to go for. But when those things are not there, we're getting back up. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, it was a good night. Thank you guys so much. I'm so happy. I'm obviously still excited about our win last weekend at UFC 252. Thank you guys so much for all your support. If you guys would like to donate, you can always go to the Patreon link. It's on almost all of my videos, and donate through Patreon. I also get PayPal donations from quite a few of you, and thank you very much for that as well. So that's it, guys. Have a good night, and I'll be back more tomorrow. More great stuff. I got a CPR first aid course I got to take tomorrow so I can keep my certification up. And on CPR and first aid, that's a 2-year certification. I got to do that tomorrow night. I'm hoping it's not going to last all night, and I'll be able to head back to the gym and shoot a video for you. So if not, I will try to I'm going to get something. So see you guys tomorrow. All right. Take it easy. Have a good night.